Am I the asshole for refusing my aunt's request for some of my brother's ashes? I 26F recently lost my brother 47M. 2 days after his death, our aunt contacted us requesting some of his ashes. Some backstory: this aunt and her sisters have been evil to my brother and myself our entire lives. We later found out it was their hatred for our mother which fueled it. They would say mean things, leave us out of gatherings and more. As well as our grandmother. My mother finally removed me from the situation, but my brother was old enough to make his own decisions and he always hoped they'd love him for real and stuck around. My brother was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and that's when my aunts came out of the woodwork to take care of him, providing him somewhere to stay or giving him some money. But it wasn't out of the goodness of their hearts. Once he got well enough to care for himself, they'd leave him again till he was on death's door again. Flash forward to now. He passed and my aunt sends my mother a fake condolence text where she quickly asks for some of his ashes because it would make her family feel better with his passing. No apology for how they treated my mother or 2 of her children for years. No real sentiment behind what she was saying. Everything was drowned out by the fact that she wanted his ashes so her and her family could feel better after his passing. Nothing about what my mother or myself might need. Nothing about helping us out with anything. Being there if we needed them. Just sorry your son died, but my family and I feel sad about it, so can you let us have something incredibly intimate so he can feel better? My mother couldn't believe it and didn't answer, but I sent my own message in secret telling her how disrespectful her text was and her lack of empathy was astounding. I told her no, she couldn't have any ashes and to never contact my mother again. Suddenly I am the bad guy because my aunts feel they deserve some of his ashes. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. This is weirdly intrusive, and feeling that this is inappropriate is normal. You are the normal one here. Please never contact my mother again. Your request is weird and inappropriate. I have no idea why you want ashes of my brother, but obviously we aren't supplying tourist tokens here. Yes, you spoke to him on and off over the years, but are you asking for the neighbor's ashes too? Do you have a giant glass jar of ashes and you label each layer? This one is Uncle Bob, and that one is the next door neighbor's cat, and here is cousin, and that one is the librarian from high school? No? Good, but still, weird. No, you can't have his ashes. And, I'm really sorry you've lost your brother. You and your mum deserved more years with him. Not the asshole. Everything was drowned out by the fact that she wanted his ashes so her and her family could feel better after his passing. Nothing about what my mother or myself might need. You said it perfectly. Their lack of empathy and sense of situation is utterly astounding. That they think they can ask such a thing at all is wildly inappropriate. Suddenly I am the bad guy because my aunts feel they deserve some of his ashes. No, you absolutely aren't. They don't deserve anything, and kudos for protecting your mom. This is a total go scorched earth emo. I'm profoundly sorry for yours and your mom's loss. This internet stranger is sending you much love. Not the asshole. Just in case, keep your brother's ashes safe. I know it's exaggerated, but better safe than sorry. Your aunts really have the nerve to say such nonsense, either because A. They feel guilty. It doesn't involve you, they burned their bridges and they live with the consequences of their actions. B. They planned something uglier just to make you feel bad, exaggerated? Maybe, but if they did emotional damage to your seriously ill brother at the time, then they can think of other twisted things. Not the asshole. You don't need to give away some of his ashes if you don't want to. It's your decision. When my dad passed away back in 2021, my uncle wanted some of his ashes. I refused. I didn't give any member of my dad's side of the family some of his ashes. I wouldn't give her any. She wants them for black magic. Not the asshole. Send them a small jar of some random ashes, cigarette ash with some bits of soil and other shit. They'll never know. Am I the asshole for not greeting my mom's partner? My mom's partner visits our house pretty frequently, pretty much every week. I, 18M, don't have a problem with him at all. He's really nice and very respectful. I've always greeted him and made conversation when he visits. On to the start of the problem. I had a really terrible day the other day and came home super exhausted and just out of it. To be honest, it wasn't just that day, it's been the past week. I think I'm getting burned out from school, work, and commuting. I greeted my family half-heartedly and explained that I was really tired before going up to my room for the night. The next day, my mom's partner arrived, but I was still sleeping. I remember repeatedly waking up with a headache but then falling back asleep for the rest of the day. My mom came in a few times to ask me if I could hang out with them, but I remember telling her, no, thank you. That evening, I only got up to submit an assignment I forgot about, and then I went back to bed to fall asleep again. The next morning, I felt a little better but still had a hard time getting out of bed. I only fully woke up at 12 p.m. Went down to eat a snack and drink water, but my family and mom's partner weren't there. Went back upstairs to do some homework before falling asleep again. When I finally got the energy to get out of bed to clean up and eat properly, it was already evening again and my family was back, but my mom's partner already left. My mom scolded me for not coming down to greet him and is upset, ignoring me. It really wasn't my intention to be rude, I was just so out of it. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Sounds like you were completely burned out and didn't have the energy for social stuff, which is fair, you're not feeling well. Your mom's partner seems chill, so he probably gets it. Your mom might just be overreacting a bit. Maybe just explain you weren't trying to be rude, you were just sick. Not the asshole. So when did you become the official guest greeter? He's your mom's partner, not yours, and he's not your dad. They're not even married nor living together. Kindly explain to her that after a bad week, you were exhausted from school, job, commute and assignments, had a headache, and ask her why she seems to think that it's so important for you to greet her partner when you need your sleep. If you slept that much in a couple days, you probably needed it. As long as you did let them know you were tired and politely declined to hang out as you said, definitely not the asshole. Seems like your mom should have recognized you were either coming down with something or just college exhausted. Not the asshole. You did nothing wrong. Tell your mother that you are sorry you weren't feeling up to doing much, as you felt ill and overtired, and rested up to feel better again. Tell her that you did nothing to intentionally avoid anyone, and she is misjudging the entire situation. She is really being overdramatic. Doesn't she ever get sick? The real question is, why wasn't your mother concerned about you being so tired? She owes you the apology and the concern. She's excited about having a nice boyfriend, but hopefully she hasn't forgotten to be a tuned-in mom. Not the asshole, and take care of yourself. Obviously you were not feeling well. Your mother is acting childishly by ignoring you, not the asshole. Am I the asshole for waking up my roommate and calling her a spoiled brat? Am I the asshole for waking up my roommate and calling her a spoiled brat after she got mad? My roommate and I, both 19F, are first years at university. For context, I am a bursary student, which basically means I get more financial support due to my low-income background. My roommate, let's call her M, is much more well-off than me and comes from boarding school, rich parents, etc. At first we got along really well. Problems started coming up when M continued going out at night, clubbing, partying, etc., and would come back, usually drunk and delirious, proceeding to wake me up at around 4 a.m. In the mornings I usually tried to be quiet. I wouldn't switch on the lights while getting ready, in order not to wake her up, even though she never gave me the same treatment. Also, by the way, I go out too, but not every night like she does, and I enjoy drinking, partying as much as the next student, but I also want to make the most of my studies, plus I can never afford continuous club nights. Another issue is she often brings people around to our room, sometimes female friends who sleep on our floor, and she would only ask permission a few hours before light. By the way, my friend is staying around tonight. Okay? I found it annoying but not really a major issue until she started bringing her boyfriend around. I was coming back on Monday to find M and her boyfriend napping in our room, which really frustrated me, because I never bring my boyfriend around as I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable. That night she went out as usual and came back around 4 a.m. Tuesday morning, threw up in our waste bin, and fell asleep. I decided that enough was enough, that if she was going to live with no regard to me, she knew I had a test at 9 a.m., that I would the same. I got up by switching on all the lights, and not tiptoeing around like I usually do. She woke up, and yelled at me for being loud, saying she had a massive headache and had only 2 hours of sleep, and needed to rest. I said that I also wanted to sleep but I couldn't, because she had woken me up coming back at 4 a.m., and that actually she had been really inconveniencing me the last few weeks. To which she decided to respond that it wasn't her fault I was too boring, and too stingy, to go out, and that she was acting like a normal first-year student, that I was the weird one. I responded by saying, yeah, well, you're just a spoiled brat who's wasting her parents' money by missing all her classes to sleep and party, and I am done dealing with that. She started crying as I left for my class, and I came back to the news that she reported me for discriminatory comments. Am I the asshole? We have a meeting for reconciliation and conflict resolution coming up where I am expected to profusely apologize. Not the asshole. She wants to party all night, fine, but she can't get in the way of your studies and you're wanting to take college seriously. Your roommate needs to understand that the world is not going to operate on her terms. It's not your responsibility to accommodate her. Just explain your side of the story. The official running this meeting, if they have some common sense, will see that your roommate's claim of discrimination is ridiculous. The official might also have a problem with guests sleeping over. You're going to have to ask for clarification on the discriminatory comments, because I don't see anything you wrote as being discriminatory. Unless not pandering to someone's party lifestyle is considered discriminatory. Not the asshole. You went to university to learn. Your roommate went to university to party. Explain that politely in your mediation and ask for a different roommate. The one you have now isn't compatible with the learning environment. Oh, hell no. Don't apologize. Tell them the truth. You're not the asshole, she is. Make a list of how many times, and how many things, she's said or done. Throw her under the bus. I'd even call her parents and tell them what she's doing. If this is in the US, I am pretty sure that spoiled brat is not a legally protected category. Tell your story and see what happens. You can even mention the boyfriend on the floor and how it makes you feel uncomfortable. If you have documentation of nights this happened, you can mention it. In the meantime, can you change roommates any time or just between semesters? Maybe one of her wild party friends has a normal roommate who would not mind a change. Try to find a normal, non-party roommate, or one who at least does not bring the effects of the drinking and the partying into the dorm room, vomit, friends on the floor, etc. Not the asshole. Make sure to ask for the complaint in writing with an explanation as to what was determined as discriminatory with what you said. As others have said, you have a right to live your life as much as she does, and it's obvious her lifestyle doesn't mesh with yours. I would push the school to assign you a different roommate as she is starting to create a hostile environment for you. Edit. Give up updates too after the meeting. You should have reported her first. But that is in the past. Now you need to make them change her to a different room. Am I the asshole for standing my ground? I was dropping off my dad and little brother at the airport and helping them with check-in when we faced a problem. My dad's ticket was wrong since the place we booked it had misspelled his name, so we lined up in line to the customer service. When out of nowhere this lady comes up and asked what we were waiting for, I replied my dad's boarding pass isn't printing, so I'm waiting in line. She then asked for the passport and said she'll do it. I replied I've tried everything, it's not gonna work. She then heads to the self-service machine and does exactly what I did, and to no surprise it doesn't work. So I said I told you, so she then turns to look at me and says you're being rude. I looked surprised. I said what do you mean? I literally told you that I tried everything and it didn't work. She then proceeded to say you know I can call the police. I looked at her in disbelief. She then proceeded to say she'll check in my dad and I can leave. I stood my ground and waited with my dad. Guess what she does? She goes in the same line, same place, and ends up going to the other worker to fix the boarding pass. You are the asshole. A worker was trying to help your dad out, and you stupidly antagonized them. I've tried everything is a very ambiguous statement. It's not like she's an omnipotent mind reader who was looking over your shoulder while you were trying everything. She's obligated to go through the motions to verify what is and isn't working. You didn't have to act like a jerk while she was troubleshooting your dad's issue. Instead of, I tired everything, all you had to say was, the name on the ticket is misspelled. You would have saved everyone lots of time and grief. Just be glad that she didn't call the police on you. Being trespassed at an airport is no joke. You are the asshole. That is rude, and it's stupid to act like that at the airport of all places. Even if you are correct, that's like one of the main places it doesn't matter. You are the asshole. When airline personnel come in to assist, you step back, STFU, and let them do their jobs and help you. 1. They probably have a script they're required to follow. 2. They hear the same story all day from customers claiming to have done everything, when it turns out they probably haven't. Edit. Formatting. You are the asshole. You had nothing to do with this flight. At this point, you didn't even have any business at the airport. You are being rude. YTA. She has a process that needs to be followed. She doesn't know you or if you did it correctly or did it at all, so she starts at the beginning, which isn't a bad idea. No need for the I told you so. She was doing her job and trying to help. The worker was actively trying to help you, so you behaved in a confrontational and douchey manner. You are the asshole.